Hello, everybody, and happy Halloween from Film Seizure. A few days early, but nonetheless, happy Halloween. I am Jeff Arbuckle. This is the 195th episode of Film Seizure. With me, as always, Jason Oliver.
Whoa, 195, what a milestone.
I
What
know,
a
right?
milestone.
It's like a milestone, but not. It's closer to a milestone. And also, Charles Moore. Chuck,
Hey, how
how's it
are you?
going? Yeah, doing great.
Good. I'm good. I'm also good.
Good. We're all good?
Yeah, 195 though, that's insanity.
We're
like running as fast as we can from episode 100, it feels like.
I can't wait to see how we fuck it up in 4 more episodes. 5 more episodes, I guess. So anyway, see, look, I already fucked it up. We're going to celebrate on episode 199, so we can.
I like it.
All right. So what was 150? Oh, yeah, Empire Strikes Back. That was all right. We did all right. But we're not here to talk about any of that shit. We're not here to talk about Chun-Li. We're not here to talk about Darth Vader. We are here to talk about legitimately one of my favorite 80s horror movies, bar none. Halloween 3. Bar none. It is among my favorite.
One of your favorite, bar none.
Correct.
How does that work? That's like this movie in a nutshell.
Exactly. You got it.
Crack the code.
Yeah, so this is by far, like, I watch this movie at least once a year. Absolutely, without a doubt. It gives me all the good, warm, and fuzzy feelings. And yet, I also know this movie makes horrific mistakes in filmmaking, in plot, in script, in order of scenes, as I'm sure we'll talk about here, because I know Jason made a note of this once they get to the hotel room.
Yeah.
But there is just something about this movie that just, you take all of that and you throw it away, and you know what, you get an enjoyable 99 minutes of thrills and chills.
Thrills and chills.
Wait, have you told them what movie it is yet?
Yeah, it's Halloween 3, Season of the
Okay.
Witch. Yeah, no,
All right.
I think I said that.
He was bar-nunning it. When he bar-nunned it, he Halloween 3 it.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, so yeah, Jason, I know you also like this movie.
I do. I like this movie. However, and this is something I think we need to talk about this movie, is that it seems like this movie sort of has that that sort of two camps of people pit against one another on this movie. You have people who really, 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 really hate it.
They're the bad guys.
And then I think you have people who like it to spite those people, but don't really, really like it.
I don't know any of these people.
And I'm somewhere in the middle. I think it's a perfectly average movie that I enjoy.
I do definitely find that interesting about the contrarian people and the people who just hate it on principle. You don't really hear a whole lot of people talk about this movie just on its own merits. It's always like, well, there's no Michael Myers, or it's fucking awesome, fuck you. You know, that's kind of the rhetoric around this movie a lot, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't see any like deep dives into the. Maybe it doesn't deserve a deep dive. We're going to do it anyway.
Yes, we are.
We are going to dive deep just like Tom Atkins would.
Yep. We are Tom Atkins. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going there.
If you've seen this movie, you know what we're talking about. Anyway, so so this movie's fucking awesome. Fuck you both. And in that case,
this movie has a lot of awesome. That's bar none. It has a lot of awesome.
That's right. That's right. Now you're getting it. Now you're getting it. All right. So I guess we start with the start, right? Which is this movie is part of the multi-picture deal with Universal. Universal said, we really like Halloween. We would like another one of those, please. And John Carpenter's like, no,
Nah.
I'll pass.
Nah.
I don't want to do another Halloween. It's perfect the way that ended. But money talks. And he said, okay, I'll tell you what. You let me do whatever I want to do, basically. I'm probably paraphrasing the real story here, but you let me do whatever I want to do with the third movie, and I'll make your sequel to Halloween, or I'll produce your sequel to Halloween. To which Universal was like, yes, we are going to make all the monies. I don't think they made very many monies. But it's kind of funny because this is a little bit of a tangent, but I think it's very, very apt. Or at least it's applicable here. Have you guys ever heard the story about Kevin Smith signing the deal with Universal to make Mallrats?
Not that I recall.
Not really, no.
Okay, so a lot of that was Universal saw Clerks, and they were like, get this guy to make our next movie, our next comedy. But they didn't want much cussing, and they wanted a lot of tits. And it was just kind of, yeah, that's what people want to see. They had no idea why Clerks worked. And Mallrats is another one of those movies. Either you really like it or you really don't. And it's just kind of, it feels as though that's just Universal, the way they were operating for about 20 years there, from the 70s into the 90s. It was, we would like another one of these, please. And then it would be utter shit.
Print us more money, please.
Yes. If you want more reference, see the Jaws series. So it's just that they're not very good at sequelizing their stuff.
I'd say that these movies made a lot of money, but Halloween 2 made over 20 million after its budget, and Halloween 3 made about
12 million beyond
12,
this budget,
yeah.
which are pretty good, but it was disappointing considering Halloween, the first Halloween, was mega hit.
Sure.
So you can kind of see that Universal likes to buy these independent properties, crank out sequels, and they don't really work out very well. So it's kind of what you have here. They wanted that Halloween 2 with Michael Myers enough to where they said, yeah, we'll give you whatever you want for the third one, to which John Carpenter and Deborah Hill were like, okay, now we want to move beyond Michael Myers. He blew up in the hospital. He's dead. So now let's do something that's going to be kind of like a Twilight Zone or an Outer Limits. You know,
Spoiler alert, Michael Myers isn't dead.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
They directed Halloween 3.
Yeah, right.
He did. I was just looking at that. That's crazy. He played Michael Myers, and then he wrote and directed Halloween 3.
Yeah. So here we are now. Halloween 2 came out. Oh, well enough. I mean, it was a hit on the same scale as the Friday the 13th movies were a hit, but not on the scale of the original Halloween. Halloween 3 was going to be a fresh direction where every year, kind of like the Saw series, you're going to get a new movie, except for unlike the Saw series, it's going to feature something different. And it's this movie wants to say things. There is an intent for this movie to talk about commercialization, the mentality of kids sitting, a foot away from their big ass TV to taking in advertisement and doing something, like, and wanting those things. The idea that malls are crushing the little guys. There's a lot going on here. But at the same time, it's like, where can we make it so that somebody's head explodes into bugs and things?
How can we fit robots into this?
Oh, I like the robots.
Lots of robots.
So wild.
It is. It is a. because there's also like this weird crossroads of technology and mysticism too, right? That like shouldn't happen, but yet it does. And it's how it feels like one of those types of movies where it's like, okay, how do we get from point A to point B? Well, we got to do this. Okay, well, that takes us a little off the path. Okay, but then we're going to do this. Okay, you overcorrected now. And it's just this winding road to get you from, from robots to Tom Atkins screaming into a phone. And I love it. I love this movie.
I think sometimes they skip point B when they're trying to get there too and end up at point C.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, but that's in service of a twist ending too, though.
Yes, it is a bit of a twist, isn't it? Wild movie.
Yeah. So, Chuck, we've heard a little bit from. Well, we've heard a lot from me. We've heard a little bit from Jason. When was the last time you had seen this movie?
Oh, it's going to be my typical answer. It's been a good 20 years, probably, if not more.
Oh, that's
yeah. It's not. Well, one, I haven't owned it. I've never owned this movie, but I remember liking it. I think, Jason, you and I probably watched this in the late 90s is probably the last time I saw it when we lived in California. Feels right to me. And it's a fun movie. I like it. Like you said, Jeff, it has lots of problems. But it's an enjoyable film, and I think I will probably put it into the rotation going forward for the spooky months. Spooky months watches.
Are you going to get that 4K? You're going to get that 4K.
God, I don't know. There's some things in here. There are some things in here that would be worth seeing in 4K.
Sure.
I think. Yeah. I want to see snakes crawling out of people's. Where the fuck do those things come from? Even.
It's magic. Don't worry about it. It comes
druid shit.
It comes from Stonehenge.
Yeah. They're living in Stonehenge.
Was that a stone from Stonehenge?
Yes. Yes. So okay, let's get into the plot, because there are some things early on that tells you the rest of the movie that you have to be paying attention when he gets to the gas station. Because that guy has seen some shit in his life. Because he even says at the hospital, it's like, my daddy always said, if you can help and not cause any problems, and then he just leaves. It's like, I'm done with this. I don't want any more of this crazy, only to get a lot more crazy before the end of the movie. So we get a guy who's and I love the opening shot of this movie. It's just that overpass. It's dark. I mean, it's like pitch black out. It's October 23rd. This movie came out on Friday, October 22nd. The movie takes place starting Saturday, October 23rd, which is also kind of awesome. Good job there, Universal, on the release. And he is being chased by a car, and there's a very John Carpenter thing here with the lights of the car and how they project. It's almost like it's not a solar flare. I don't know what that's called, where it streaks out up and down, like when light streaks like that. But it's a very John Carpenter thing, because it was done in a lot of his early 80s movies. And so this guy is running away, and he hides in a junkyard. He thinks he's gotten away, but this car comes back, and it's full of businessmen. The scariest thing on the planet. A car full of businessmen. And they catch up with the guy, or one of them does, and the guy uses the blocks that's holding a car to crush one of these guys. Now, this guy's it's a little weird, because the guy getting crushed doesn't scream, doesn't try to protect himself, doesn't bleed, apparently. It's all very strange. But the old man runs away, and he's got this pumpkin mask sticking out of his pocket. And he makes his way to this gas station, to which this old black guy is working alone in the middle of nowhere in Northern California. And he takes him to the hospital, because the guy's freaking out, and he's talking about how they're all going to die and they're all, everybody, they're going to kill everybody. So he takes him to the hospital. And that's when we meet Dr. Daniel Chalice.
More like Dr. Phallus, am I right?
Oh! He is basically a dick on legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he is always ready to go. He's always standing up straight.
He had been, not to correct you, but he had been at home with his wife before he gets called
his
in.
ex-wife.
His ex-wife, yes.
Yeah, he is there to go pick up his kids. And he gets beeped and he has to call in and he's like, oh, well, bye. See
you later,
I'm gonna shirk this responsibility big time. But he does bring his kids these two shitty little plastic molded masks. But no, they got what they wanted. They got these silver shamrock masks.
Yeah.
And by the way, his son is played by Joshua John Miller. And if you want to know what kind of an actor he becomes, he plays the little brother in Teen Witch, and it's one of the best performances in cinematic history. It's so over the top and stupid. But yeah, he's now a writer. But anyway, so they've got the Silver Shamrock masks, and we get to hear for the first time the Silver Shamrock theme song that plays during the commercials, which would have driven me nuts. And I'm not entirely sure that it didn't.
I think it drove me nuts last night, to be perfectly honest, how much times it plays. And what is the tune? It's like stealing another tune.
It's
8 more days till Halloween.
It's
London Bridge is falling down. Or?
Yeah. London Bridge.
That's it. It's London Bridge. Yeah, because basically Tommy Lee Wallace wrote that song, and he's like, well, I got to take something I can't pay for, and this is just real. It's a real easy, and if you do it at the right tempo with the right music, it sounds a little creepy, and everything fills in with the syllables and whatnot, the syllables. It should also be said that Linda, which is Dan's ex-wife, is played, well, in this it's Nancy Keys, but was Nancy Loomis in the original Halloween.
Paul.
Yeah, she's the one who gets killed in the garage, also gets stuck in the garage window. We love that scene. We love everything about the first Halloween movie.
100%.
Yeah. So he's got to go back to the hospital, and this guy is clutching this pumpkin mask, and he's just saying that we're all going to die. And he hears the commercial again in one of the hospital rooms. By the way, this is the same hospital and same town that was in Halloween 2 that was used for filming location.
Oh, nice.
All right, so does what's her name? Stacy? Is her name Stacy?
Ellie.
Or actor's name is Stacy. Ellie. Yeah. Does her dad die in the hospital?
Yes, because
And what's he die of?
He dies of his face getting ripped off.
Basically. No, basically he's sedated, and Dr. Chalice decides, I'm going to go take a nap. And
that's right.
He
that's
pats
right. The robot comes in.
Yeah, he pats the nurse's butt. And she's like, ooh, like she got goosed. Which that's Dr. Phallus for you. Anyway, so a businessman robot comes back, and we don't know he's a robot.
We don't know he's a robot.
It's a way to spoil that, Jason. He comes in and he uses his finger and his thumb to tear the guy's skull apart from from the bridge of his nose.
Yeah, it's pretty weird looking.
Yeah.
It detaches his skin from his skull at his nose. It's weird.
Right. And basically uses the cartilage to tear the skull apart. Because the lady in the Teddy was her name in the coroner's office was like, yeah, you got to be pretty strong to have to have, to be able to tear somebody's or to rip somebody's skull apart.
This ain't human. That guy.
Yeah, or well, because she also
Not quite human.
Well, there was also talk of, he was probably on drugs or whatever. And it's like, I mean, I suppose you could be like on, I don't know, steroids. I don't know what drugs would make somebody tear somebody's face off. Anyway,
bath salts.
Fair enough. But wouldn't you do that to yourself first?
Probably.
Yeah. So anyway, so he's pretty shaken up about this. It's like people do die in hospitals, but not supposed to die like this.
Right. And then the assailant doesn't go out to the car, pour gasoline on themselves and blow themselves up.
Yeah,
and typically the car doesn't.
Probably thinking it's time to call the Marines.
Yeah,
Right.
it's time to call the Marines.
Also, it should be noted that it's also, kind of uncommon for a smoking debris of a car to be left there the next day for everybody to look at and comb
it's
over.
there. It's at least 8 hours later, and it's still just smoldering, and there's no police tape around it. Nothing.
It is kind of a cool shot. Both of those shots are cool. Like the explosion is awesome.
Oh yeah, it looks great. It looks great. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious. It's still smoldering the next day.
Yeah. So some days pass. Apparently, like almost the whole week passes, and
it's however many days they need to get to a single syllable number.
Right. It's right because
It can't be 7 days.
No, the next time you hear the song, it's 2 more days till Halloween.
Yeah.
So we've gone forward now to Friday the 29th. And Ellie Grimbridge comes in to a bar where Dr. Chalice is watching some cartoons. Or angrily watching cartoons. He doesn't want to watch cartoons. Fuck those things. And we get a commercial and a cameo from director Tommy Lee Wallace.
Yeah.
Calling Halloween like one of the greatest movies ever made. And then and so she comes in and she's like, yeah, the nurses say you would be here.
Yeah. So weird.
That's not great.
Yeah.
By the way, his ex-wife had already said
You can find him at the bar.
Yeah, drinking and doctoring is not a great combination. So what happens here, guys? What does he decide to do at this point when she starts asking questions?
Well, he abandons his family to go on on an adventure.
He's gonna go follow a mystery with a young woman and a 6-pack of Miller.
Miller High Life. It's a sixer of Miller High Life on the rings, probably warm, and he's probably drinking them on the way.
Drinking and driving is not a good combination. It's as bad as drinking and doctoring.
Yep, that's right. So this is Stacey Nelkin is the actress who plays Ellie. She was at one point in time, and maybe during this time, she was dating Woody Allen.
Oh.
Now, I should look at that and say, there is some hope there. But it's mostly gross. And
so Tom Atkins' statement later is a Woody Allen joke.
Nailed it. She later married Barry Bostwick. We all know and love Barry Bostwick from from Megaforce and nothing else. I don't care if he has been in Rocky Horror Picture Show. He was Ace Hunter. He's the one who taught me that deeds, not words, are the things that are important.
Was Barry Bostwick also on that show with Michael J. Fox?
Spin City?
I
believe he was, yes.
Yeah.
He was the mayor in Spin City.
Yeah, he was the mayor. Yep.
Anyway, so that's awesome. But anyway, she became what is called a quote unquote relationship expert and has her own YouTube channel and website. She is often on Fox and Friends.
Oh boy.
Wow. All of that story was disappointing, except for the Barry Bostwick part. That was awesome.
Oh boy. She was also in the movie Going Ape.
Oh,
Is that with Tony Danza?
Danza.
Yeah.
And was Danny DeVito in that too?
yes, he was.
Oh my goodness.
She was in Yellowbeard too. I remember liking that movie.
I don't know that one.
Yeah. So anyway, so she shows up with her cute little curly hair, and it's like, hey, I want to know what happened to Papa.
Oh my God. Why is she calling her dad Papa? It's so freaking weird here. Are they really calling attention to how young she is? Because it feels like they are. And no woman calls their dad Papa, right? No adult calls her dad Papa. It doesn't feel like. But the way she's saying it, she sounds like a 13-year-old.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, she is only 22 years old in this movie. And
She's
by the way,
older than she looks, though, as she says.
Which is not a great answer when you want to know how old this chick is that you're going on this adventure with.
Yes.
When you're Tom Atkins and horny as hell. So they take off for Northern California. He calls up Linda. And, Linda is maybe a little bit of a pill, but at the same time, you maybe kind of understand.
This is the 5,000th time he's done something like this.
Right. He's like, yeah, I got to go to a conference. Tell the kids to go fuck themselves or something. and why don't you two at the same time? Bring it up with the judge if you have any problems with this. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go fuck this broad.
I do like her line when they get to the town. She's like, I feel like a goldfish, because everyone in that little town is.
Yep, they're outsiders. They don't belong there.
Yep.
Well, they all know that she brought her sexy underwear while investigating Dad's murder. I mean,
now, it is possible she bought that at the general store in Santa Mira. It is possible. We didn't see that scene, and we certainly don't know what she packed, but she packed enough to say, hey guys, I'm here for you. and we can't have just all robots. Spoiler alert. We just can't have all robots melting heads and snakes and shit. We're going to also have this. And I'm going to be like, okay, cool. I mean, at least you're thinking of us. And maybe some ladies, some ladies may like that too. Anyway, I wonder if Don Post made that outfit too, along with those masks.
Probably.
Anyway, so they are going to Santa Mira, which was where Connell Cochran, and for the longest time I thought they were just saying Connell like how Colonel is spelled. And am I mispronouncing this the whole time? But no, Connell is just a weird Irish name, I guess. They're going to go up there where he had built Silver Shamrock, which was originally like a practical joke toy thing. The dead dwarf gag was one of his. I want to know what that gag is. I really want to know what that fucking gag is. Because do you buy a real dwarf or is it a mannequin? Like, what is the dead dwarf in this gag?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then what does it do after that? Does it also explode into snakes and bugs? But anyway, and she says Irish masks, Irish Halloween masks, as if that's the weirdest thing on the planet. And Dr. Chalice says in California, anything's possible.
He's not wrong. I used to live there, and Irish people did things you'd never expect.
You would never believe it.
It does kind of feel like an attack by St. Patty's Day on Halloween almost.
Yeah, there is a lot of weird like Irish people apparently hate kids. Just hate.
Yes.
They want them dead, fucking dead. They want the hills to run red with their blood.
It is kind of a weird choice, though. Silver Shamrock and all the Irish, like It's weird. I don't get it.
It is weird. Maybe it's because we got Dan O'Hurley in here, but I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, so they show up in Santa Mira. It's basically a ghost town, and but they can see the people looking at them through the various windows, and that's when she says, "I feel like a goldfish," and they probably cut the line where Dr. Chalice says, "Yeah, sexy goldfish."
Smacks her ass and says, "You don't look like a goldfish."
When are we going out to dinner? Anyway, he has got a whole line of chicks waiting for him. It's great. So they go to this little dump of a motel. They almost get hit by the Kupfer family. The Kupfers. Ralph Straight is Buddy Kupfer. He was a kind of character actor of the 80s. And he is like mega fan of Silver Shamrock. We find out later that they are in town because they sold more masks than anybody else, and they're going to get a free tour of the Silver Shamrock, but not a full tour, just a free tour, because there are some places in there where the final processing happens.
Yeah.
Yep. But little buddy Kupfer is an asshole. I'm kind of glad what happens to him.
It's goofy though, because he wants a mask. It's like, dude, you don't already have these masks?
Everything you want? Yeah.
3 of them. And your dad sold more than anyone in the country.
We're gonna talk about
already, right?
Yeah, I've got a lot of questions about the second act of this movie. But anyway, so they go, and we also meet Marge Gutman, who is a friend apparently of Ellie's dad, who died, because they both have stores in San Francisco.
Yes.
And she is pissed because they fucked up an order and that she had to come back to the shitty town. I don't know why you have to go to the town. No. There are phones. There are trucks. Support our truckers, man. They keep America running, God damn it.
She does say she doesn't want to deal with ordering online. I'll say online, even though that's not the term, and that it's too hard to get around the big guys with the big orders, so it's better to just come and get it yourself. Is basically what she says. That's
fair enough.
Yeah.
She takes one in the face like a champ, though, in a little bit.
Misfire. We'll misfire right into her mouthful.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Tom Atkins wasn't misfiring.
No, he wasn't.
So Chuck, go tell us a little bit more about this town and the goofy motel guy.
Yeah, so they have a 6 p.m. curfew, which nobody seems to care about because Tom Atkins is around at the store that should be closed during curfew getting liquor.
Because he drank all of his High Lifes in the car.
Yeah, he drank all of his High Lifes, and he definitely needs a drink. The guy who owns the hotel seems to be giving rooms away to people for free. Like the Kupfers, I think, stay for free. Marge probably stays for free. I'm guessing they would have stayed for free, but Tom Atkins like, no, I'm going to go sign your book and give you $40, even though you didn't ask for anything.
Is that enough? Oh my, yes.
Yes.
So did I just overpay you? Give me some.
But yeah, this guy helps them unpack their car, and he's like, "Oh, you pack light," and she's like, "Oh, we're experts. We're really good at packing because they have one."
Because all she brought was silk undies.
Yes, that's all that they have. And Tom's like, well, these pants can last another day. That line cracks me up. And I don't even know if I'm going in the right order in this movie. They get back into the room, and she's like, well, Tom is like, well, maybe we should get another room. And she's like, don't you think that will look suspicious?
Because they're posing as a married couple.
A married couple, the Smiths, right?
Yeah, good job, guys.
Nailed it. And she's like, well, where do you want to stay? And he's like, that's a stupid question. Bang, like.
Yeah, like
making out with her.
Yeah, yeah. Like, what kind of conversation did they have from San Francisco up to wherever this is, which I'm pretty sure is the same or around the same area that John Carpenter always films at. But what kind of conversation did they have?
I don't think they talked at all. He doesn't know how old she is. He doesn't know anything about her dad, or
they were just too busy making out.
Yeah, he was just making out with his Miller High Life cans the whole way up.
Well, how else are you going to get the last little bit that stays in the can? You got to get up in there.
But he does, like I said, he goes and gets that bottle of liquor and runs into a bum who basically knows everything about the town, right? He's our exposition general here. Yeah,
general. that goes. Like, they would have pronounced it differently to go along with Connell Cochran. It would have been Goneril guy.
Goneril guy. But he says none of the people working at the factory are from the town. No, they wouldn't hire a local guy like me. And then he says something like, I know some things. And Tom's like, well, what do you know? And he's like, I know I'm going to burn the fucking place down with Molotov cocktails.
The last Halloween for them, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I mean, they seem sort of like very simpatico, right? Like these two could get along, to be quite honest. You know,
yeah, they could be best friends.
But the bum is not a sexy girl, so he's got to go.
But they're both into like very over-the-top solutions to things. Reeds and Molotov cocktails. They both like to drink, obviously.
Yeah. Hey, I ain't got no diseases or nothing. It's like, hey, here you go. Then have a swig, I guess. Take a nip off my 40 I just bought.
But apparently the bum still has his own bottle, and he's just stealing drinks from whoever he can.
Well, he's got a very specific job. He's got to go and tell somebody what he knows, and that is that he's going to buy a case of Molotov cocktails and burn that motherfucking factory down.
But Cochran is listening.
Yes,
he's everywhere.
Yeah, he does. There is like some cameras on every corner and every alley, everywhere basically in this town. Microphones in the police station desk.
That was the motel office.
Yeah, whatever that was. But there's a microphone there too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so old Bummy goes around the corner and basically just gets destroyed by
what happens to him though? This is great.
He gets his head ripped off.
Yes, he does.
They completely ripped
it
off.
It looks like a mask because it takes some of the skin with it from the chest and the shoulders. It's great.
It does look like a mask.
It does. Great. And then the two guys are just kind of looking at it like, huh.
Well, I like how the body like stands there or is kneeling
it's just
there,
spraying. There's a fountain of blood coming out of the neck.
Yep.
So this is when Tom Atkins gets back to the room after a freshly showered Ellie gets into her little silky nightgown, which is the only thing she brought. He brought booze. She brought a negligee.
Can you explain to me what was her reaction, or why was she reacting all crazy when she got out of the shower and grabbed the comforter? Because
it's cold. It's cold. She sort of had a towel. She had a towel for her to not show bits and bobs to the camera, but then that wasn't enough. And it's cold in Northern California at the end of October, and so she just was like, "I'm going to get in here, and then it's going to produce the negligee, so that when he comes back, all I have to do is just drop the comforter, and bam, they're going for it."
Yep. Steph said Tom looked annoyed when he walked in there. I'm like, I don't think he was annoyed. She's like, he looks annoyed. I'm like, well, he's not anymore.
He's annoyed that the bum didn't make him hard.
Yeah, probably. So, Jason, you had something about
yeah.
What?
You have something about this scene. His
reaction.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
What is it? He's already actually, he's about to have sex with her a second time, and now he asks how old she is.
She's like older than I look, which apparently I mean, I don't know. I mean, she was 22. She looks about 20 something. So, okay, I guess. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. It's yeah. He does shoot first, ask questions later, though, doesn't he?
Yep.
So the proper question, Jason, would have probably been, are you old enough to do this a second time?
Right. Are you old enough to have sex with twice? Yeah.
And I guess the answer is yes, because as they're doing that, Marge Gutman is getting ready for bed, and she's got her book, and she notices that the mask that she brought was apparently defective because the silver shamrock tag fell off, and I think that's kind of maybe like, ooh, look, marketing and the whole idea of branding is more important than the thing itself. I think is what that's trying to, because that's not defective. I'd tear that motherfucker off. That'd be like wearing your tags while you're wearing a baseball cap. And it's a little too early for Vanilla Ice. So it's, this is stupid. Get that thing out of here. I don't want that. I don't want that tag on there. It's, anyway, so she picks it up and notices that there's an itty bitty little computer chip on the back. It's got those little transistor things and everything on it. And so she's like, oh, maybe what I should do is start like digging around in that. Because that's what I do when I see a microchip. By the way, after seeing this movie as a small child, I have never dicked around with a fucking thing because I'm afraid it's gonna
zap your face,
zap my face off and cause I don't know what that bug is that comes out of her mouth. It's not exactly an insect, but it's not a spider. I don't know what that is.
It's like a cricket. It looked kind of like a cricket or bee.
But like a cricket bee, or possibly maybe it was a camel spider. I don't know. Anyway, which isn't a spider. I know things. Anyway, I just don't know what that bug is. But it blasts her in the face, and she's right next door to the guy who's blasting the other girl in another place. And I'm assuming that if she dodged that, then the laser would have gone through the wall, maybe, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
But she wasn't expecting the surprise. And then Ellie was like, "What was that?" And he's like, "Well,
it's my dick."
Don't worry about it.
He's like, "Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. I'm too busy getting it on." So then there's a commotion outside, and he gets out of bed and he's just going commando. He's just gonna pull some jeans up and he's gonna go outside and see what's going on.
Brawny Man has some shit to clean up. That's what's happening here. He's like, I have a job to do.
He does look like the brawny guy. So
there's a white van and a bunch of scientisty looking fellers taking the body out, obviously not moving and probably dead, but Cochrane's like, oh no, she'll get the best care. Don't worry. We're taking her to our facility where we make masks, which has a state-of-the-art like hospital apparently or something in there. And Brawny Man's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Until he overhears Cochrane saying, or someone saying it was a misfire. And he's like, a misfire of what?
Right. Like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out because we're.
By the way, real quick here, Marge Gutman, played by Garn Stevens. Guess who she was married to at the time?
John Carpenter.
Tom Atkins.
Really? So he's having sex in the next room while she gets her face blown off. That's fantastic.
Oh my God.
And he doesn't care to know what's going on. He doesn't care to know what's going on. I'm too busy in here.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, so they so now it's time. We got to go to.
They go to the factory, right?
It's time to go to the factory.
Before they go to the factory, I have to say this because I don't know what book Marge Gutman is reading, but she is reading a Carlos Castaneda book. So it's probably Tom Atkins' copy of The Teachings of Don Juan.
Ooh, diving deep.
Yeah.
Deep.
Well, Carlos Castaneda is a pretty popular
Easter
writer.
eggs on
But
top of Easter eggs.
yes. All right, go ahead. Move on. I just had to bring that up.
So I should also say that there is a little bit of what we find out is a little bit of a ticking clock here that's happening. There's a big giveaway at 9 p.m. after the horror-thon.
Yes.
Which, by the way, 9 p.m. seems early to end a horror-thon, but whatever. And there is, and you're supposed to gather around the TV and watch the TV with your masks on. That doesn't seem weird, but whatever. If it shuts the kids up for a little bit, that's all the parents apparently care for. I should also say, I teased this earlier and completely blew right past it. When Ellie's dad showed up at the gas station, the old black guy running the place was watching a news report about how a stone from Stonehenge went missing unexpectedly. Considering they weigh like 40 billion pounds per slab, it's a little weird how somebody just made off with one. So keep that in mind.
Strong robots.
Yeah, I guess they probably just conjured it out of existence and into the secret processing room.
Yep.
Anyway, so the Smiths go to the go to the factory to find out what happened, and there's this little old lady who I'm pretty sure is the lady from oh, maybe not. No,
I don't know who we're talking about here.
Well, the secretary there at the place looked familiar, but I don't really recognize her. But anyway, she was like, "No, dearie, they didn't. This guy came and picked it up, and let's ask this random guy who walks out of the factory room. Oh yeah, no, yeah, he came. I loaded it myself. Oh,
yep.
Okay. So then the Kupfers come in, and Buddy Kupfers, the senior, he is all about the Silver Shamrock. He is excited to be there. He is he can't wait to see all of the stuff in the factory.
How all three masks are made. All
three masks. To which when Connell Cochran first brings up the whole concept of the final processing, he looks to his wife Betty and it's like, what final processing? And she's like, don't ask me.
Yeah.
She does not care. She only wants the money the Buddy Kupfer's bringing in at the toy shop. So that's when Buddy Jr. is like, ooh, I want one of these masks. And it's like, oh, and we meet we officially at this point meet Connell Cochran, the Dan O'Herlihy, who was the guy in RoboCop too, right? Like, wasn't he in?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
But anyway, so he comes out and he's the old man. Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
In RoboCop 2, he's screwing the hot bad chick that tries to reprogram RoboCop.
In the hot tub.
Yep. Yeah, I like that scene. Anyway, so so he's very congenial, and he gets the whole factory to applaud his well-natured gesture of I'm going to I'm going to replace the Smiths order. It's being packed up right now. Ooh, yeah. Now, question.
Oh man, he's also Andrew Packard in Twin Peaks. That's crazy.
There's your David Lynch.
Yep, you got your Lynch connection.
Son of a bitch.
What's your question?
So my question is, it's Friday the 29th, or I assume now Saturday the 30th. Why are they still making the masks? Halloween's tomorrow.
Good question.
And it's a weekend. You ain't getting no fucking Teamsters to ship those out to anywhere.
You get robots to do it.
Oh, fair enough. They have mask cannons. They just go out and thump, and just shoot the masks out to people.
Yep, they're going to the basketball game and shooting them into the stands.
We're going to the Kings game.
Yep.
Wait, the Kings may not have been in Sacramento by then. Going to the Golden State game. Thump. There we go. So they go and they're walking around and they're like, yeah, man, something's weird about this place, because they had like all these weird like, this is when we find out about the other the dead dwarf gag, sticky toilet paper. That sounds funny. I'd get in on some of that sticky toilet paper business, and the incredible racist Native American band, which he paid very close attention to the details, is
Yes.
what Buddy Cupford says. So, I don't know what details he was paying attention to on that, but Buddy Cupford loves all of this shit. Well, there's a room over there, and Buddy's like, "Hey, can we go in that room?" And Connell Cochran's like, "Oh no, there's dangerous chemicals and stuff over there." It's
No, no.
The room is appropriately labeled final processing.
Yes.
So this is the final processing that Cochran was talking about.
Exactly. There's dangerous chemicals over there. Got to keep some trade secrets. So so it's about time for the Kupfers to get their prize. And Ellie and Chalice go off. And
Phallus recognizes some of the businessmen. He's like, these are the
Yeah.
executives that killed people earlier.
Yeah, they look like the guys. And she sees Papa's car.
Yeah.
She reacts, and this is the best. This is some of the better face acting. When Connell Cochran's like joking around with the Kupfers, is like, oh, whatever trade secrets.
Trade secrets.
And then he gives like a death look.
Yes, he does.
And it is good stuff. That is good stuff.
Yeah.
So now it's time to explode a kid's head. Who wants to talk about that?
Well, before that, Tom Atkins says it's time to call the Marines.
Well, that's true. They get back to the room, and it's like, I think it's about time for us to call in the Marines. They've got to fall under somebody's jurisdiction.
The Marines.
Which would be probably the cops,
Right.
But fuck
Yeah.
that. We're going the nuclear option. Bring in the Marines.
So this is confusing. If he literally just goes like 4 doors down to try to call the cops and the Marines and whoever he's trying to call from the office of the motel, how does he not hear the commotion of those guys breaking down the door and stealing his lady and all that? For some reason, I thought he drove off and came back and she was gone. But really, he's just a few doors down.
He's just a few doors down in the office. But yeah, he calls Teddy, who has been going through the remains of the blown up car. And she's like, oh, it's like all I see here are like some gears and stuff, It's like,
Yeah, somebody's playing a trick on me. There's no
human remains.
Yeah.
No teeth, no bones. It was a hot explosion apparently, but there should be something.
Right.
So yeah, he
He goes back and the lady's been gone. There's like 15 executives. I'm just going to call them executives because they're like the board members from the mask company that kill everybody. And she's gone, so he just runs away. And I don't know, what does he go to try to break into some factory? Is it the Shamrock factory? I don't even know where he goes next, but the window lights up.
He goes. So he has to book it through a window because he opens the door to the room, and Tommy Lee Wallace copies the shot from Assault on Precinct 13 with the executive standing there. That was done with the crazies from Assault from Precinct 13.
Nice.
And so he's like, hey, I'm going out the bathroom window. And so he just heads to the factory, and that's where he goes. He just goes to the factory. But he's trying to find some phone that will work to call in the Marines.
Yes.
I keep thinking Jason's going to say something, but he's just like, yep. That's what happened.
That's what happened.
So
I have a note. Don't make my eggs so runny. Is this when he kills one of the robots?
Yes, he punches the robot in the guts,
That's
and he pulls his hand out, and it's all like yolky looking. Yeah, you said don't make my eggs so runny, and I said robots over easy. What does he do? He does find a phone, and he ends up calling his wife, who is still just fucking perturbed about everything. And he's like, don't let the kids wear the masks. That's a bad deal with these masks. Oh yeah, he hadn't called it yet because he gets captured by Cochran, basically, right?
Right. After he punches the guts of the guy who played Michael Myers in the second movie, Dick Warlock.
Oh wow.
He gets captured, and then they're like in the elevator, and the one robot sneezes. And it's like, see, don't they seem like, cool?
Yeah, aren't these robots so human lifelike?
Yep.
But he takes him into the room, and he sees. He's like, it's about time for you. Cochran's like, it's about time for you to see an example of what's about to happen. So this is like the evil genius explaining his work, which happens in every Bond movie, right? This is almost
pretty
like
much,
a Bond. Yeah.
No, this is not like a Bond movie.
You know what I mean? No, this scene is like a Bond scene.
Yes. But yeah, okay. I thought you were saying the movie was like a Bond.
Yeah, it's totally James Bond.
No.
Tom Atkins should have been James Bond.
He could have been. He probably could have been.
I just realized I always kind of get the black hole vibes in this scene too, because you got like the big command center and the evil guy and all of his minion robots doing all of his work for him, trying to I don't know. I always get the same kind of vibes as a kid when I saw the black hole.
I could see that for sure. But he's got the Kupfers in captivity, basically.
They're in the room that's all made up. They look like a room, except for the walls don't. I mean, there are paintings on the wall, but it looks like a fucking storage closet.
They've been totally duped, like real hard. Kupfer still doesn't think anything's like amiss here.
Right.
He's very stupid. Best salesman in the world, but not very bright.
Right.
Selling cheap masks. There's hope for us yet, she says.
Yeah. I'm going to lock you in this room and make you watch a commercial and then give me feedback. That's the idea that Kupfer falls for.
And he's perturbed because he wants to get next year's order in. He doesn't even know what they're doing. And this should be a red flag to the audience. There is no they aren't taking orders for next year. Oh no.
Ooh, that's because they're going to get Molotoved. So they can't.
Fair enough. They know that bum was going to come, but then now Tom Atkins is here.
Yeah. So they show Tom Atkins, or he's watching the Kupfers watch the commercial that will be aired at 9 p.m. when the horror-thon is over. And what it does is it shoots that little laser into the back of whatever kid's head is wearing it and makes bugs and snakes come out of them, which in turn kill their parents.
Which I'm not sure how that works. I mean, like
none of this works.
No. Okay, so here's the next question. So there is such a thing as time zones, right?
Yes.
So like by the time that home base in California is ready to blast some kids in the face, the whole country is going to be aware that a bunch of kids in New York and Maine and Miami and sure probably Georgia died, and then Chicago had a big problem, and then they're like, I don't know, let's wait and see what happens to Denver.
Maybe it was 9/8 Central,
But it's still 7. But there's still such a thing as Mountain and Pacific time.
It would have been midnight in the East Coast if they actually aired it all together, right?
Right.
So maybe they just aired it in California. Maybe they're not big enough to air it in the rest of the country. I don't know. But you're right. It's a stupid.
It's not going to
work.
Plot
problem. It's a plot problem.
It's not going to work because then, are you just saying, all right, we're done with business. We're not going to do any more business because we're going to kill all these kids and nobody's going to buy our masks anymore or our racist Indian band thing.
Yeah. No more
So-
souvenirs, novelties, party
Party
cakes.
cakes. Oh, anyway, so what phony dog poop?
What
Uh,
funny.
So yeah, none of that is going to happen anymore. So I mean, I feel like there's a lot of holes in the plan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
Also,
they stole a rock from Stonehenge. They can get away with anything, I'm pretty sure.
I guess, but we've got more questions coming up here. So yeah, so Tom Atkins figures out a way to get out of his straps. I think he's like carrying a scalpel with him or something. Sure. So
Sure.
doctor's always carrying.
Doctors always carry their scalpel. Yeah.
Right. It's my lucky scalpel. So he gets out of the binds. It might have been a pocket knife anyway, but I feel like somebody should have been checking his pockets anyway. So and he tosses this is great. This
The
is
mask.
one of the little things that happens in this movie that I think is fucking brilliant. He throws the mask and it covers the camera that's watching
Yep.
him.
It's so great.
But then Conal Cochran gets a phone call from, I don't know, the king of TV. And it's like, oh, we're going to have this it's going to be a 54 share, which, by the way, that's nationwide. That is a huge broadcast. That's like
You're right.
Super Bowl level broadcast. And he's like, oh, it is a 54 share. Meanwhile, the robot who spotted the fucking mask get thrown
The best
It's
mask
trying
toss
to-
fucking ever.
is
Sorry.
trying to tell his boss, hey, there's a problem, but but Conal Cochran like hushes him, so he just stands there like a robot would. He has this full conversation, hangs up the phone, and then the guy's like, problem. It's perfect. Those are the little things, my friends.
Yes, give this movie such great value.
Yeah.
for
So
everyone.
so this is when he finds the phone on the wall and he tries to call Linda. Linda's having none of it. None of it. And
he
he's
thinks he's
babbling.
drunk, which he
Right.
is, probably.
Probably. I mean, when is he not?
Right.
He then tells, then he's like, all right, well, I got to go find Ellie. She's just laying in a room. That doesn't seem odd. She doesn't say anything for the rest of the movie. That's not weird, is it?
No, but she's really good at sneaking behind, behind
she's
a rack
sneaking.
of masks.
Yes. So another great thing, they use the mask and they just kind of, it's like a cartoon. It's
It
great.
is.
Stupid. But it's great. It's great.
Yep.
And he goes over to the control board and goes beep boop and makes the commercial play in the room where all the robots are. And he finds a box of the tags, and he and Ellie just start showering that down onto the control room.
So many misfires.
So many misfires. It's the first time that Daniel Chalice ever had a misfire.
It really does lead to like the coolest shot of the movie, though.
Oh yeah, It's so it activates all of them and like lasers everywhere, sure, and it kills all the guys and it creates like this ring of laser, and then Stonehenge decides to blast Conal Cochran after he gives him the golf claps, like, "Ooh, you did me good.
You got me.
You got me, good sir.
Somebody
Good job."
got my lucky charms finally.
And he turns into a non-corporeal being and disappears, clothes and all.
Yep.
So they got to get out of there because now the whole place is on fire. And then Ellie is a robot. Now, my question about this is, my question here is, was she programmed in the event that Daniel Chalice would come and find her? Was she programmed to help him? Was she just a dumb robot, or is she like, why did she help destroy all of her other brother robots?
And where is the real Ellie?
And
Oh
where's
no,
the
no,
real
no, no,
Ellie?
no.
Was she
The
a
real
robot all along?
no.
Is there
I
a
think
real Ellie?
I think they took everything out of her and then put her onto
Put
a
robot
robot.
guts into her.
Oh my
So,
god.
so Ellie was a real person, and then she was a robot.
Well, that's the other question. Was she always a robot?
Right.
I feel like Chalice got in there enough to know for sure.
Maybe.
He got egg yolk on his.
Oh no, no, oh no.
Chuck's face.
This ending is so dumb. It's almost good.
So yeah, she tries to kill him. He tears off an arm. The arm keeps coming,
It's
as
so
does
good.
the rest of her. He eventually bashes her head with a tree limb, and then she kind of finally falls down, but then her arm is still going to attack, and then she dies. I guess she dies. She's
He
dead.
punches her hard enough to kill her, or hits her with the tire iron or whatever, and
Yeah.
robot over.
And then he shows back up at the gas station, and the old black guy is like, hey, don't I know you? He says that.
I like this circular,
Yeah.
the way that it ends the same way it began. I kind of like that.
He then calls up the king of TV, the guy who called Connell Cochran later, and it's like, hey man, you got to take this off, man. I can't prove it, but they're going to kill everybody. He gets two of the three stations. Yeah, he gets two of the three. The third one, just not happening. There are kids in there, so something's happening. Something's going to happen.
And then it's over.
And then it's over. But he yells, "Stop it!" a lot, and that's awesome. A phrase he's not apparently aware of is a thing.
Were they going? Go ahead, Jason.
Do you think that when it went off one channel, the kids turned it to a different channel?
Yes, they did.
So
Well, those kids did.
Yeah. So it didn't do anything. They're all
Probably,
dead.
probably not.
At least on the West Coast, they are.
It's kind of like a thing.
Probably all of the rest of the coasts too. Northeast, west, and south. They're all the coasts. They're dead. And probably some in Canada too.
Yep.
Bummer.
Yep, Steve.
Bummer ending, man.
One thing I did recently find out. So Connell Cochran, played by Dan O'Hurley, was a 1954 Best Actor in a Leading Role Oscar nominee. He played Robinson Crusoe. But here was his competition. James Mason in A Star is Born. Bing Crosby, The Country Girl. Humphrey Bogart in The Caine Mutiny.
Oh, wow.
And the winner, Marlon Brando, on The Waterfront.
Oh, geez.
I'm guessing he got the fewest votes.
Yeah,
And he's like, well, I guess there's only one place to go from here. Halloween 3.
Halloween 3, baby. So I have a few questions.
Oh, there are lots of questions, but let's go for it. Let's do it.
Well, when they sold the trailer for this movie says this is the night that nobody came home.
Yeah.
But everyone kind of had to go home for the whole plan to work.
Yeah. That's just playing off of the poster for the first Halloween.
Well, obviously, yeah, it's totally trying to grab that magic. And where are the witches?
Yeah.
But they were
It's
the
a-
masks. They were the masks.
So the season of the witch is just the witch mask.
Yes, it's actually, the title was lifted from the
Donovan song or whatever song?
no from the George Romero movie. Season
Oh,
of the
okay.
Witch. They just liked it, so Tommy Lee Wallace like, I'm taking that. Yoink. The script was originally, the original version of this movie was written by Nigel Neal, who Carpenter hired because he liked the Quatermass series from the 50s, Hammer sci-fi horror series. And so Neal was like, we're going to do this. It's not a straight out horror movie with jump scares and stuff like that. It's going to be a little bit more psychological. And it's going to be a little bit more sci-fi or fantasy like. Our friend Dino De Laurentiis said, "Don't like it. I want more gratuitous violence and grossness." So it got rewritten by Tommy Lee Wallace, who added in all the stuff. So this movie was, I mean, like, I think the idea was there to have, you know, these kind of more higher ideas. And you know, what survives in this movie is this kind of weird vibe that kind of lays under the movie. And part of that is John Carpenter's score.
Mm-hmm.
It is very uneasy the whole way through.
It's a real good score.
Yeah.
And give credit to Howarth, because him and Carpenter were very much a team. And yes, I love this score. It really probably is what makes the movie something I go back to every year, is because the score is just incredibly creepy.
Yeah.
It fits every scene really well. All the little stingers too, I love.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like it's just piercing through the
I wonder how high end. I guess I could go back and watch some old movies, but the beginning when they're building the pumpkin out of the computer, it seems like they're really into that, and it's supposed to be really awesome. Was that really awesome at the time?
I think
those graphics.
I think it's pretty awesome.
I mean, obviously it's dated now, but I'm just wondering if it was a big deal then.
I still think it looks pretty cool. I also like the television signal that kind of waves in.
Yeah.
It's to build the pumpkin. Yeah.
It's there is something about the movies of the early 80s, because I always think of this, and I think on the original version of Blade Runner, I don't know if you see it in any of the home video releases or anything since, but there was the company that produced or was involved in the production of that movie was a tree that was made by those lines like that. And I always think of stuff like that. There is just simply a look to this movie that I think is very, very early 80s that was never really like, this is a weird thing to say, and because I can't really describe it very easily, but movies don't look like the movies of the early 80s. There is just something about, I don't know if it's the film stock. I don't know if it's location for some of the movies that became, but there's a very distinct look to this movie that not many other movies have.
The movie that I kept thinking of, the look of, is actually from the 70s, but it reminded me of Salem's Lot, like the look of Salem's Lot.
Yeah. It's I mean, like, and there is this, I have a weird connection to seeing places like the town that they filmed this in, that they made this into, Santa Mira, that, you know, you have like that boardwalk, like Main Street, it's empty. It's something that, like, I can drive to downtown Beach Grove, quote, air quotes, and there's a similar look there, but it's still also been modernized around it. This feels like something that just does not exist anymore, that in our lifetime did. I don't know how to explain it, but I always have this weird connection to seeing stuff like that.
Yeah, it reminds me of my childhood, kind of.
Yeah.
Things look like when I was growing up.
Yeah, I mean, like, I grew up in Greenwood. So, yeah, we had, you know, again, quote unquote, downtown Greenwood looked a little bit like that same idea, where it's like you park your car over there and you walk up and down the street to whatever stores you need to go to. That's just all gone now. You know, it doesn't exist like that anymore.
So you said, Jeff, earlier that this, bar none, is one of your favorite 80s horror films. And I know the first Halloween was not made. Do you like this better than Halloween 2?
Yes, but I like Halloween 2 a lot too.
Okay.
I like this better than Halloween 2. Probably, I would put this in the range of like some of the better Friday the 13th movies. Yeah,
It's got gore, it's got fun kills, maybe not enough of them for that kind of film, right? Like if it was a Friday the 13th movie, you'd probably see 11 more people die.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They would have thrown in just some teenagers parking, on the outskirts of Santa Mira to have sex, get killed or something,
Yeah, there aren't very many random deaths in this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all purposeful. Yeah, no. And I mean, this is one of those movies that like every late October, I'm watching this movie. Just, I'm putting it in. This and like Night of the Demons, another movie that's dumb and not great, but it's just fantastic for what it is. But yeah, like this is top tier. Like I would rather watch this movie than most of the Friday the 13th movies, and more than any of the sequels of the Halloween movies, except for maybe the 2018 one.
Cool. Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Jason, this is one that you often watch around the Halloween times, right?
Yep. Yeah, usually every Halloween I watch this one. I also watch the original.
Sure.
It's funny. I actually haven't seen Halloween 2 in a while. I need to rewatch that.
I always
do like Halloween 2 as well, but it's one that I don't own a copy of it. So I don't actually end up seeing it very often. I need to get a copy. Maybe I'll get that UHD. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think they're all on Shudder right now. I could be wrong, but except for 3.
2 and 3 are often removed from the rest just because of the Universal thing. They have to go through somebody else to get through it. It's often a problem with AMC Fear Fest, because when they say Halloween 2, most of the time they're showing the Rob Zombie one, not the Halloween 2 from 1981. So yeah, it's 2 and 3 just feel like they are kind of on their own little island, and they're completely unassociated with each other, except for using similar locations.
Fair.
No, but yeah, this movie makes a ton of mistakes. Like the whole thing, the time zones, the plane can't work, and because there is nothing that says that it's nationwide live. It would make sense if they said that. They never say that in the movie. But at the same time, like, and you don't know if, like Chuck, you kind of thought maybe it is localized, but it isn't. It's just, it's so weird. It is strange. But at the same time, between that, was Ellie, I mean, like, we have to assume that Ellie was turned into a robot when she got captured. Why? Was it for the sake of the ending of this movie? Was it because
it's for that weird twist, but they have to fuck up so much of it with, like you said, her helping him destroy the factory makes zero sense whatsoever.
Right. It makes more sense that she was always a robot and therefore was carrying out a different programming, because but at the same time, again, though, it also comes down to, but then why turn her? Why not just kill her? Well, what's one more robot going to do for you? Unless one of the other robots was like, hey, I would like a robot girlfriend. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we got a girl here. I guess we'll give them that. The concept of time is weird in this movie. Why wait almost a full week to put the majority of the movie in? Why can't they have left a few days before? And because like once they get to Santa Mira, it's like everything happens really fast, and a lot happens really fast. There's is everybody in town a robot? Then why is the bum there? are all those people looking at them like goldfish, or as if they are goldfish? Are they all robots, or are they all? Have they seen some shit that they're scared of Cochrane? What is going? None of that is explained. It doesn't matter. This movie rocks. Fuck off.
Well, I got nothing else to say about this movie. I know that.
I don't either. I enjoy it. It's dumb. It makes no sense, but it has good spooky vibes that I like to experience every year.
Yes, it's just and a lot of it is the score. A lot of it's the way it's shot. A lot of it is everything leads to Halloween, and that is, there's. It almost feels a little bit like the first Halloween movie was accidentally taking place on Halloween. At any point in time, if Michael Myers got free, would he not have gone killing again? I mean, there were 21 Halloweens in between, or whatever. There were several Halloweens in between when he first killed and when the movie takes place. So this one feels like it is deliberately Halloween.
Right.
For the whole thing to happen.
Yep. Agreed.
So, anyway.
What's next for us? What are we doing next? This is the end of Spoopy.
Spoopy month is over.
Yep. We had a happy Halloween, or are about to.
Yeah. Next week, Clockwork Orange. 50th anniversary of Clockwork Orange. There's a little spoop to that.
Uh-huh.
A little spoop.
For sure.
So we have concluded Spoopy month. We went all over the place. We had a traditional slasher, we had a Stephen King movie, we had a deep thinker that we had to think on with The Brood, and we've got maybe an in-name only sequel.
Right.
So I think we covered the spoop. So next week we will do Clockwork Orange. Also, on Monday, for Monster Mondays, I kick off 5 consecutive remakes of movies that I have covered before.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm starting with the 1988 version of The Blob.
Nice.
So that's a pretty good range of movies that I've got for Monster Mondays next week too, because it ends again with a John Carpenter flick. But yeah, so those things happen at filmseizure.com. Wednesdays, new episode of Film Seizure. Mondays, new episode of Monster Mondays. You can also find that where you can find fine podcasts, such as SoundCloud, the other places as well. Apple, Google. Sorry, my robot brain just went out for a second.
Runny egg coming out.
Just go to filmseizure.com. You will find a little thing on the right-hand side of the screen that will tell you all the places that you can find our show. I would very much like to appeal to people to get subscribed to the YouTube channel for Film Seizure, because there's a thing with Monster Mondays that's going to be happening. So as we get closer to the end of the year, there will be announcement for what Monster Mondays will be turning into.
Woot.
Ooh, professional tease right there.
Yeah. Next, also, we have my website, bmovieanima.com. This Friday is finally the end of Resident Evil sequel month. But because there is a special relationship with the month of October and Halloween with the B Movie Enema site, there's a bonus. B Movie Enema on Sunday, October 31st. And it's our old friend Tom Atkins.
Nice.
In Night of the Creeps. So that is my palate cleanser for Resident Evil month. Also, this Saturday, so there's a whole weekend of B Movie Enema going on here. Friday is Resident Evil, the final chapter. Sunday is Night of the Creeps. But on Saturday is the Halloween episode of B Movie Enema, the series, where Nurse Disembody and I get some surprise outer space guests who want to assimilate us into a party. So
Sweet.
do that. That's on YouTube. Also, Other Worlds TV. Do those things, and we'll all be happy. We'll all be happy with those things. So
lots of Jeff, lots of B movie enema to be had.
Maybe too much, Jeff. because it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday is Monster Mondays with the Blob. So God damn it, everybody, tell me to get lost or something.
Love it.
All right. So next week, A Clockwork Orange, returning to the warm embrace of Stanley Kubrick, and I'm excited.
Me too.
Until then, I am Jeff Arbuckle. I'll go ahead and wear the witch mask for our 3 masks from Silver Shamer. My head's going to explode into bugs.
I'm Chuck Moore.
I'm Jason Oliver, and I guess you've been listening to Film Seizure.
We're back to fucking up the endings.
Happy Halloween.